Hello, everybody, and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to my latest episode of New Album Spotlight, the show where I put the spotlight on a new album in progressive rock that I think you guys will really love. And I have a lot of fun sharing new music with you guys. Hopefully you appreciate the format here. And it's basically a way just for me to share my tastes and share the things that have been grabbing my ears lately, and hopefully might grab yours if you share similar tastes in music as me. So today I have the new album from Kaipa on the docket. This is the one I'm talking about. And the title is somewhat difficult to pronounce. I'm kind of envious of those who get to write reviews of the album and not have to pronounce this name. As an American, I don't know much Swedish here, but as far as I could tell, it's Sommargryningsljus. This is the new album from Kaipa. A really fun group that I've really come to love over the years. They've been around for a long time. Really, they were around back in like the classic era of prog. They were founded in 1973 in Sweden. Hans Lunden is basically the one member who's been consistent throughout the whole lineup, so it's basically his project at this point, and he assembles a lot of cool musicians to play on these records, and it always sounds fantastic in that happy, positive, symphonic prog style that a lot of bands from Sweden are known for. Flower Kings is obviously a great reference point. In fact, Roine Stolt has been part of Kaipa in various parts of their history. The early years of Kaipa were basically from 1973 up till 1982 when they disbanded. And then they reformed in the year 2000 with a very new lineup, very new kind of style and sound to them. And that's the iteration of the band that I'm familiar with and that I've fallen in love with, is the 2000 and forward version of the group. The first few albums that they came out with in that iteration had Roine Stolt on them, but he eventually left the group, and we've got a few new members in the group since that time. Hans Lunden, of course, is the leader of the ship, doing keyboards and some vocals. Per Nilsson is doing the guitar work, electric and acoustic guitars. We have Jonas Reingold on bass, who of course is also with the Flower Kings and has his own project, Car Mechanic. We have Darby Todd on drums, who sounds fantastic. And then we have dual vocalists. We have Patrick Lundstrom on vocals as well as Alina Gibson. And they're both fantastic vocalists and trade off vocals throughout the album, and it's really fun to hear their different takes on these tracks and to trade vocals. You hear one vocal line from one and then it goes to the other person to sing the next verse. And this is somewhat of a concept album, perhaps. It contains 8 tracks portraying a nocturnal journey from dusk until dawn. The first 2 tracks represent the twilight, and the closing 2 indicate dawn. So it's a bit of a nighttime odyssey through all these different adventurous landscapes. It's a lot of fun to listen to, in my opinion. So it starts with a track in Swedish, sung in Swedish. The title means summer twilight light. So we're getting into the twilight part of the record at the start. So it's a really beautiful piece, pastoral, beautiful Swedish vocals from Alina. Before we get into 7 Birds, which is almost 10 minutes long, continues from the first track with some sweeping symphonic sounds. We get Patrick's vocals in the mix here along with Alina. Bit of a slow build on this one, but they really build upon these really sumptuous melodies on keyboards and later with some soaring guitar. It's really cool how they're able to build these pieces, and sometimes they build these pieces where it's built along a single melody that they keep repeating and keep just building upon and doing variations on, and it's really beautiful to behold. There's a great section in this track that's purely a cappella with Alina's swirling vocals building upon themselves, adding some touches from Patrick's vocals as well. And it really builds into this great moment for the record that I really love. So a really great opener proper for the album that I think really spells what you could expect from this record as a whole. Like Thousand Dawns is 11 minutes long, immediately has a bit more of an upbeat feel, some lively bass lines and swirling keys. There's some beautiful vocal sections from Alina with some great melodic touches. There's a quirky proggy melody done on the keyboard lines, great instrumental proggy moments throughout the track, some pounding drums, some swirling keyboards, this musical kaleidoscope that the band's able to craft and create. I find that Hans Lunden's keyboard sound is very unique to the band. I hear his sound and it immediately makes me think of Kaipa. I love bands that have a signature sound like that, and it's heard all over the mix here. So it's another lengthy track that goes through a lot of different ebbs and flows and different sections, some positive symphonic vibes, some busy bass work, some great guitar soloing, keyboard melodies galore, and the end they even add some saxophone into the mix, adding another layer to this melting pot of music. Just a wonderful track, one of my favorites on the record. I think it really showcases what the band's all about and their expertise in building these landscapes with music. Revelation View is a fun symphonic treat of a track. Some violin is added to the mix, giving it a bit of a folk style to it at times. Flute is also added into the mix for this wonderful folky soundscape. Just great instrumental playing throughout this track. Once again, it's almost 10 minutes long, about 9.5 minutes total. Chased by Wolves and Burned by the Sun is another 10-minute track with some quirky vibes, some intriguing chords, prominent beats as it rolls along with great vocals from Patrick. Once again, in that typical positive symphonic prog vein that the band's known for, with plenty of fun sounds and soloing moments, crazy drumming in the back half. Spiderweb Train is the longest track of the album that comes next in 15 minutes. Kind of in the same vein, there's starts out a little bit slow and methodical with a bit of a storytelling vibe before the music starts to ramp up, and I feel like you could almost hear in the music this kind of building train that is building up momentum and steam, that you can hear that personified in the music. And I love when bands can capture that, when the theme of the song itself in the lyrics is really portrayed expertly well in the music and brings these images to mind. You hear some delightful flute playing amidst some really jazzy drumming work, bringing a cool dimension to the track. There's almost a circusy vibe throughout parts of this track as the track continues and moves along. One of the most fun musical adventures of the album, with plenty of shifty musical sections full of energy and playfulness and jazzy and symphonic undertones. This is what I come to Kaipa for. It's just a beautiful extended piece of music that just keeps swirling and changing and giving you a lot of fun and adventure as you move along in the track. Songs in Our Hand is next and 13 minutes long. Starts a bit more slow and dramatic as they're painting this new musical picture and pastiche, but still has their symphonic gorgeous style with swirling keyboards and guitars. Takes its time going through these increasingly complex and adventurous landscapes and really reaches a sonic height as it goes towards the end and gives this uplifting finale. So a really fantastic track once again, and it ends with another Swedish track that gives you all of that epic flavor that you come to expect from the band, and I just really love it. So all in all, a really fantastic piece of work. You could argue that it maybe is a bit overlong. There's a lot here to digest. It's one that you need many repeated listens to really digest properly. And there's certain sections you could say, does that go on too long? Do they meander a bit during this part? Could they have shortened this up a little bit? And I'm sure those sorts of critiques are warranted, and I can understand it, but I get so swept away by entering these musical vistas and just loving the journey and being part of this musical experience that I'm okay staying in that lane for quite some time and just enjoying the breeze, enjoying the vibes. And so it's a fun experience for me as a music fan, and I'm really appreciative that the band is able to work this out and create this incredible piece of work. It's really fun and has some great musicianship by everyone involved. You know, they're always on fire on their instruments, and that's always top notch. The sound design and production is really well done as well. So just a fun album to listen to. I like albums that have lots of layers and complexity and take time to really unpack and to figure out all the things that they're doing, and I think this album fits that bill. So fantastic work. I recommend it to all fans of symphonic prog. This should be right up your alley if you love these types of bands, and I hope you'll check it out as soon as it comes out this Friday. Fantastic piece of work, and I can't wait to hear your guys' comments and how you feel about the album as well. So thank you guys for joining me, and I'll catch you in a future episode. Bye, everybody!